up with the birdies, way up in the sky. Things kinda getting to me. I need an escape. I'm sure many of you could relate. She said Monday stress, Tuesday stress, oh Wednesday stress, Thursday stress, Friday stress, oh Saturday stress, even Sunday, my only rest day, stress. And the group are going steady in the deep blue sea, living as one big happy family. Till one day the shark got hungry. The group cried, "No shark, don't eat me." Shark shook his head. He said, "Once you're dead, you're free." The grouper escaped and cried, Monday stress, Tuesday stress, oh Wednesday stress, Thursday stress, Friday stress, oh Saturday stress, even Sunday, the only rest day, stress. Early one morning, set out to cross the street. All day long crawling in the burning heat. As they neared the other side late that evening, a truck went speeding.
Expired goods allegedly being shipped to consumers in the Family Islands. An investigation currently underway. We've got the details tonight. Also, another COVID outbreak globally. What are health officials saying here at home? And later, more sex crimes being reported against children. Eyewitness News starts now. Good evening, everyone. I'm Janae Noel. Thanks so much for joining us. Topping news tonight, a major investigation now underway as the Consumer Protection Commission is looking into reports that expired and allegedly substandard goods are being shipped to the Family Islands consumers. Our Delano Roker on the ground today with Commission officials. He has the details in our top story tonight.
With the cost of living at an all-time high, some Family Island residents say they're paying premium prices for products that are damaged or worse, allegedly expired. Chairman of the Consumer Protection Commission, Senator Randy Roll, confirms that his office has received multiple complaints and says the commission is taking decisive action.
Here at Consumer Protection, we believe in stronger rights with a louder voice. And so, as a part of the process, today we visited several wholesale stores, and we're going to end by looking here at the dock where, items before they go to the Family Islands, shipped to the Family Islands, we just want to ensure that they're good quality. There is a time limit, so that, we don't get products on the Family Island that expire right away. And so what we're trying to do is make sure that we cover as much ground as possible, and of course, respond to complaints as we get them in our department.
Officials say spot checks at various warehouses and distributors are being conducted as part of an ongoing probe into the alleged distribution of unsafe goods. Enforcement Officer Alfred Taylor says businesses found non-compliant with consumer safety regulations could face hefty fines.
There are a number of fines involved, and the fines can range from $2,000 to $5,000 in certain cases. Okay, if it is discovered that certain things are happening as it relates to expired goods, we give you an advisory warning, and it continues to happen, then yes, you can be fined up to $5,000.
And how are some distributors such as Asa H. Pritchard dealing with shipping and consumer complaints?
Well, all of the picking is done at night by our picking department. So to only we will know if they spot that in advance. But normally we don't have a lot of items that sit that long. Anything to do with expired goods or closely dated, we'll ask the customer to send it back and we'd give them a credit on it. Now, if sometime we just tell them to show us a picture of the item and tell them don't bother to send it back, just discard it and we'll give them a credit.
And while the commission stresses that findings remain under review, Senator Rhodes says the public can expect a tougher stance on those who allegedly compromise consumer rights.
It's a part of the Affordable Bahamas initiative by the Davis administration. And so we're not just looking at one aspect of it. Many persons would have seen us go inside food stores, may have seen us go inside other stores. Well, this is a part of the overall mandate by the Commission to make sure that we protect as many Bahamians as possible. And so this stuff that you see happening here today is something that you will continue to see.
Delano Roker, Eyewitness News.
On to some other news tonight as concerns rise over a new wave of COVID-19 infections in the United Kingdom. The Health Minister, Dr. Michael Darville, addressing the potential impact on the Bahamas, especially as the country continues to welcome millions of tourists each year.
Ministry of Health is constantly monitoring and putting its surveillance program in place for look for all forms of infectious diseases, whether it be airborne, waterborne, or foodborne.
Noting that with more than 11 to 12 million visitors arriving annually, managing public health risks becomes a complex task, but one that he says the ministry is prepared for.
Our surveillance unit is on top of that. We're on top of the strains of COVID-19. We are watching the outbreak of influenza. I could tell you a couple weeks ago I had the flu, and man, I don't know what that was I had. I thought as a healthcare professional I've been exposed to just about all upper respiratory tract virus, but it was very intense.
Meantime, the health minister also confirming progress following some high-level talks with executives from China's Export-Import Bank with the expectation that funding will be locked in for the country's most ambitious medical project to date. The $290 million New Providence Health Facility is being touted as a game-changer, set to overhaul a strained public health system, ease pressure on the Princess Margaret Hospital, and also deliver expanded services across the islands. Dr. Darville is stressing tonight that the mission is urgent, with Bahamians demanding access to faster, stronger, and more modern health care.
I'm going to be speaking in the budget at 3 p.m. on Monday. I will go into more details about the negotiation, but I can say this much to you that it's good news, and the residents of New Providence, by extension the entire Bahamas, could expect this new specialty hospital in short order.
Well, a 44-year-old man receiving a 3-month sentence after he pled guilty to committing sex crimes against a 90-year-old woman, and it's being described as outrageous by women's rights activists. They're calling not just a slap on the wrist, but a mockery of the law. Nicholas Hanna admitted to indecent exposure and indecent assault at his arraignment before Chief Magistrate Roberto Reckley, reportedly blaming his actions on an alleged drunkenness at the time of the crime. Prosecutors say on June 8th, the victim was sitting on the porch of her Eastern New Providence home when Hannah joined her and touched her inner thigh before he flashed her, leading her to file a complaint at the Elizabeth Estates police station. It's a crime that reveals disturbing similarities to an incident in 2023 when Joel Strawn, a man in his 20s, raped an 83-year-old woman at a residence. He was given a 9-year sentence. Activist Candy Gibson fears that there won't be a tide in these heinous crimes if those on the bench fail to deliver a firm message.
We have to set a strong presence in our country. I mean, come on, this 90-year-old woman, that woman almost time to go back to God, go back home to meet the Lord. And you can have a young man feel like it's okay to, come on, man. And 3 months is all he got? Come on, man, we have to send a stronger message to these would-be perverts in our country. 3 months is not suffice, man. A 90-year-old woman, and he think he's justified, and we think we justified with giving 3 months. No, man, we need to, I think now we need to start really looking at the laws on our books and try to more or less give the victims some style of, because you can't get justice when someone violate you, touch you inappropriately. You can't get justice for that. We're now no longer in 1909. We're now in 2025, and a lot of people exposed to social media and what's going on around the country crime-wise. I think we now to look at the law books and try adjust them and amend them, because this isn't making no sense.
Well, tonight, the Davis administration facing scathing criticism from a woman and children's rights activist who say that she's not alarmed by a recent revelation that rattled the nation, adding that her years of experience in the field has made her long aware of this issue. But she says she's sick and tired of the alleged lack of support that's being shown by government. Our Jose Etienne has the details on this.
Mothers prostituting their children to get the bills paid. It's a gut-wrenching, disturbing reality that Social Services Minister Miles Larota says is on the rise. Revealed in Parliament this week, the minister confirmed an alarming uptick in cases of child prostitution, a practice that some say signals a collapse in national morality. But the revelation has sparked fury from President of the Bahamas Urban Youth and Development Center, Podesta Moore, who says government is late to the fight.
This thing has been happening for years, but you guys are not doing anything. You're not taking it serious.
Moore says the warning signs have been there for years and accuses officials of failing to support grassroots initiatives that could have stemmed the tide.
You have NGOs and organizations like mine and other NGOs who are on the ground working. And when we reach out for help, financial help, where you have to, these things cost money to run, programs to run, they're not putting their money where their mouth is.
The most vulnerable, girls as young as 14, caught in a cycle of abuse, exploitation, and trauma. And Moore says many of their mothers feel as though they have no other option.
Once their daughter reaches a certain age, the men are saying, okay, you're too old now, I want your child. I want your little girl, you're 14, so they're grooming them and preparing them. And the mother has been so used to having that money taking care of her expenses that she really now say, okay, now it's your time to step in.
The comments echo a similarly jarring statement from National Security Minister Wayne Monroe, who disclosed back in 2023 that an 11-year-old girl was impregnated by her mother's boyfriend. While it is unclear if that case involved trafficking, Monroe admitted that some mothers turn a blind eye to abuse in exchange for financial support.
That is why in the Protection Against Violence Act that was just passed in Parliament, we also criminalize and seek to control what is called financial abuse, which is somebody is paying the rent, paying school fees, paying the mortgages, and use that as a lever to be able to take advantage of either the woman or the children.
And that's why Moore says partnership between government and civil society isn't just necessary, it's urgent. Without it, she warns, more children will be lost.
Government cannot do the same type of work that we do. They can support it, but they cannot be the ones to go there in the forefront and say go and get and collect the state and information, because that trust isn't there. And again, a child don't want to report their mother, to get them arrested.
Officials are urging anyone who knows of a case to report it to police or call the ministry's hotline at 711. Jose Etienne, Eyewitness News.
Wake of recent incidents involving tourists being assaulted, safety and structure in popular tourist zones have been moved to the top of the agenda. The Ministry of Transport, in collaboration with the Royal Bahamas Police and Defense Force, is now cracking down on illegal boating operations and safety breaches. Our Delano Roker has that story tonight.
It's a multi-agency push aimed at protecting tourists and reclaiming order in the maritime sector. The walkthrough conducted by officials this week is part of a wider strategy to tighten safety protocols in high-traffic areas. Minister of Energy and Transport, Jobette Colby-Davis, says the focus is clear: restore structure, promote safety, and preserve reputation.
We've had some concerns and issues raised over the last few months about the management and the regulation of our jet ski rentals on our beaches, and we wanted to make sure that we were collaboratively working along with our jet ski industry to bring more structure and more order and organization to the way in which we do the jet ski rentals, just to give a better experience, to make sure that we're focusing on safety for all persons and make sure that fairness exists with the industry, as they do have their own call-up system, and we just want to make sure that it's being ran effectively and efficiently for all to benefit.
Minister Colby-Davis stressed that the effort is not just about cracking down, it's about creating a sustainable environment where legitimate businesses can grow and tourists can feel safe.
Now we've gotten even more support from national security. So we have some Defense Force officers that are here working along with the Port Department officers to bring order, to regularize, make sure, check all the vendors that are at this location are operating at the right location. They're in their rotations as assigned by the Port Department when they get their numbers, when they get their authorization letter, and when they get their registration. We set the locations they are to operate from. So just to check everyone are at their correct locations. I'll be speaking in the budget contribution on Monday about some of the regulatory changes that we will see coming on stream, one of which I think would help even more where you have incidents of people acting outside of the law, whereas the Port Department officers will be allowed to now do spot fines to ensure that we have order in place, and that would assist us along the way.
Senior Commander Burnwright of the Royal Bahamas Defense Force outlined new security measures set to roll out in the coming days, measures designed to tighten monitoring, boost visibility, and deter illegal operations.
Yes, come July 1st, there have been amendments to the law, which the laws are the Boat Registration, Commercial, Recreational, and Watercraft Act, and the Water Skiing and Motorboat Control Act. These amendments include spot fines to address matters such as riding a jet ski with a customer. That is, even though it's in the code of conduct as a no-go, the spot fines will address it with a fine. Speeding, operating a jet ski within 200 feet of the shore. So it addresses stuff like that have been considerable issues for some time.
Among the most notable developments, a new industry association forming to introduce umbrella insurance for jet ski rental employees, a move officials say will improve accountability and protect workers and visitors alike. President of the Cable Beach Boating Association, Damian Bethel, says positive change is already being felt.
Well, it's making it better. It's making it safer. It's allowing regular citizens to understand the importance of being Bahamian, of our actions, of knowing that every minute we have to put our best foot forward. Because we have support from a collaborating effort. Yeah, we are now in the process of creating an association. We are now speaking as one voice, so we're now able now to see and then rectify issues before they become major issues.
It's a push to clean up, crack down, and build forward before peace of mind is lost along our shorelines. Delano Roker, Eyewitness News.
Well, the Ministry of Energy and Transport with the Royal Bahamas Police and Defense Force recently visiting the Goodmans Bay Beach to reinforce jet ski safety protocols with growing concern about tourist safety and the country's image in marine recreation. We turn to social media to get the public's opinion. You were asked, do you think jet ski operations in the Bahamas are safe for tourists and locals alike? 20% of participants voting yes, while 80% voted no. You were also asked, how can the government improve safety in water sports? Comments expressed strong concern over jet ski operators, calling for stricter enforcement, better oversight, suggested included daily Marine Division checks, more police presence on jet ski operations, and consistent enforcement of the laws without favoritism to improve accountability. The public also recommended proper staff screening, wider camera coverage, and also voice recordings. While tourism officials in the fight moving aggressively to head off what's being described as an anticipated dip in tourist arrivals. Just days ago, a high-level team meeting wrapped up a strategic mission in Florida, meeting with major stakeholders in a bid to stabilize and stimulate travel to the islands, with competition across the region ramping up and global booking patterns shifting. The tourism ministry isn't waiting for a crisis. They're taking action now. A full marketing push is underway to reinforce the country's position as a premier destination, and officials say more aggressive campaigns are in the pipeline.
Bahamas is a known brand. It's known to be not only nearby, not only warm, but warm and hospitable in every sense. And therefore we have a welcoming spirit for our guests. When we find uncertainty in the world, people like to go where they're comfortable, where it's easy to access. And what we are seeing is that people are booking more impulsively now. The booking windows have generally shortened. What this means is that people are making decisions on the fly. And it's good to be able to take a 25-minute flight after you've made that decision. You can make that decision at lunchtime and be in place for your dinner meeting that same day. So this is a benefit and advantage that many of our competitors don't have, can't boast of. We have the proximity, and there's nothing that anyone can do about it.
While the outreach efforts are gaining momentum, tourism leaders say the work has only just begun.
Last year, we attracted a total of 11.2 million visitors to our shores, and many of them come from Florida or come through Florida. So we have a large cruise offering, and therefore it's important for us to ensure that our partners in Florida understand the possibilities of the connectivity. So we have a large cruise market, as I've mentioned before, and therefore we are also focusing on increasing our stopover guests. You may already know that our cruise business has grown some 65% between 2024 and 2019. Our stopover business is holding its own, which means that we want our guests to know of new developments in the Bahamas, new places where they can stay.
Well, the Member of Parliament for Elizabeth, JoBeth Colby Davis, making it clear that she intends to seek renomination on the PLP's ticket with the hopes of a back-to-back win in the 2026 general election. Colby Davis, rising from senator, where she served in 2017 to 2021 to Parliament, following her victory against Free National Movement chair Dr. Dwayne Sands. She won some 55% of the votes compared to 44% by Sands, and she says she hopes to do it again.
Well, of course. The story of Elizabeth is a part of me. And so when I went into the community, I wanted to make sure that they understand that we are one family. We do a lot of functions in the community on a daily. A lot of the improvement, infrastructure work, road improvement, clearing some of the drainage. We've been working.
Well, despite no official candidate list being released by the PLP for the upcoming 2026 general election, Colby Davis emphasizes that the work does not stop, and she says she's committed to finishing what she started.
I asked for the job and the opportunity to serve them, and my commitment that I will serve them to the best of my ability. I think that I have been doing a good job in serving them. Sometimes you may not get everything done that you want to do, but for the first opportunity to serve a community, I believe that I've been blessed with a lovely group of people to serve, a great team that supports me well.
Aisha Bowe, a woman whose family hails from the island of Exuma, making history when she launched into space back in April. She's back home for the first time since her touchdown. Arlington Ritchie Jr. has the details in this report.
Aisha Bowe, a name now etched in history, returned home this week as a certified astronaut. The African-American trailblazer with Bahamian roots was one of the few black women to ever make it into space aboard Blue Origin's NS-31 mission. And in an Eyewitness News exclusive, she opened up about what it meant to defy gravity, break barriers, and represent her heritage at the edge of Earth.
An unbelievable moment in space with the Bahamas flag, reminding the world that genius is evenly distributed.
The former NASA engineer took flight on April 14th alongside a star-studded crew, including Katy Perry, Jeff Bezos' fiancée Lauren Sanchez, journalist Gayle King, bioastronautics advocate Amanda Wen, and filmmaker Carrie-Ann Flynn, marking the first all-female crew to launch into space. And while her resume now reads astronaut, Aisha Bowe made it clear during her address to St. Andrews graduates on Friday, the mission was about more than making history.
That the next 50 are better than the last. For me, I cracked the door, but I need the youth of this nation to walk through.
But with global fame came global doubt. Critics questioned whether the crew really took flight or if it was all just for show. Bo responded head on.
You know, I saw that as an invitation to invest more in science and STEM education in the Bahamas, which is exactly what it is that I am here to do.
As for what's next, Bo says her sights are set on lifting others. Her mission now to invest in STEM here in the Bahamas, ensuring she won't be the last to launch. Linton Ritchie Jr., Eyewitness News.
If you've got a news tip or if you've seen news in the making, call the Ion News hotline at 397-6397. We also invite you to send your letters to the editor for publication on all of our social media platforms, eyewitnessnewsbahamas@gmail.com. And if you're watching on our Facebook or YouTube page, share your thoughts about today's stories in the comments section. We want to hear from you. We're just getting started in Eyewitness News tonight, but when we come back, the Minister of Health giving a personal thank you to some very dedicated nurses. We've got that story coming up. And later tonight, Atlantis is leading the effort to save coral reefs. We'll tell you how right after this break.
While others see customers as numbers, we see our customers as people, neighbors, friends who deserve more than one-sided connections. That's why we are redefining what real connection is, by prioritizing our customers and showing our appreciation by putting our money where your loyalty is. BTC customers, claim your $200 Bahamas Air gift card when you add postpaid mobile to your internet plan. That's loyalty that flows both ways.
Mom, did you tell him that Danny went to pick up KFC?
No, wait a minute. Are we really not going to tell him we already have KFC?
Crunch the routine with a tasty KFC bucket for $20. Plus, we'll handle all the dishes. That's right. No prep, no cleanup, no stress. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
In 2010, a grant helped Bahamas Striping Group of companies get started. Today, that seed has grown into a national force, building roads, airports, and brighter futures. Now, we're leading the way through public-private partnerships, what we call 3Ps, where government vision meets private sector innovation. 3Ps empowers local subcontractors, giving them the chance to bid. And with every contract, we're putting money directly into communities, creating jobs, supporting families, and fueling growth. From roads in Eleuthera to community centers in the inner city, we're not just laying asphalt, we're laying foundations for financial opportunity. At Bahamas Striping Group of Companies, we believe in building more than infrastructure. We're building up Bahamians who build the Bahamas. 3Ps, public-private partnerships for people, progress, and prosperity.
Every island in the Bahamas is unique, but our people unite us. We're ambitious, and with the right opportunities, we can achieve extraordinary things. That's why this year's budget makes historic investments in education, training, and upskilling for anyone ready to move from surviving to thriving. For the parents seeking security, the dreamer wanting a stake in the economy, the builder of a better life, this budget is for you. We are stepping into a new era of rapid change and real opportunity. And our success depends on how well we prepare our people to thrive in a tech-driven world. With smarter infrastructure, cleaner energy, and stronger laws already in motion, we are laying the foundation for an economy that works for everyone. Because opportunity only matters if people can reach it. That's why we're investing in education, backing small businesses, and breaking down barriers to build a fairer, more inclusive Bahamas.
The Ministry of Education and Technical and Vocational Training's National Report Card Day is Thursday, June 19th, 2025, between the hours of 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. All parents are urged to collect their children's report card during this time.
This segment of Eyewitness News is brought to you by EV Motors.
It's your last chance to get behind the wheel and drive the evolution. Secure the Toyota BZ4X, Mercedes-Benz EQB 260, Carry Cargo Van, or Carry Elephant X7 truck, with prices starting as low as $309.88 per month. Hurry, before they're gone. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back. Here's a look at your Eyewitness News gas tracker. You're getting the cheapest tonight at SL, $5.43. Shell coming in at $5.46. Rubis, $5.55. Welcome back. You're watching Eyewitness News. Well, the nation's nurses getting a personal thank you today from the Minister of Health. Our intern, Layla Sands, has the details in this report.
The Minister of Health and Wellness makes a special stop today with one mission: to say thank you. At the Allenstown Clinic, senior nurse Antoinette Cumberbatch addresses staff gathered for a moment of recognition, pointing to the strength behind every shift, ward, and clinic.
As we all know, and they would agree with me, that nurses are the backbone of the healthcare profession. And without us, it just won't happen.
Minister Michael Darville joins the ministry's Nurses Month committee to deliver gifts and encouragement, but also brings a personal perspective on the critical role nurses play.
A few months ago, I was in hospital, and I can tell you, nurses play an intricate role in not only providing healthcare services, but the moral as well as the support.
He says appreciation must go hand in hand with real investment in training, support, and opportunity.
And so it's important to take care of our nurses while at the same time giving them opportunities, and a lot of that has been captured in the industrial agreement.
Layla Sands, Eyewitness News.
Well, with labor reform high on the national agenda, Laurentia Smith taking a closer look tonight at the voices shaping the debate. She's speaking with the Bahamas Human Resources Association about the changes they believe are long overdue.
The Bahamas Society for Human Resources Management, or BSHRM, welcomes government's proposed labor reforms, calling them a progressive step towards modernizing workplaces and protecting and strengthening the rights of both employers and employees. BSHRM's president, LaShanta Smith, says the organization fully supports the changes and it's committed to working with all stakeholders to ensure they're effectively implemented for the benefits of the Bahamian workforce. However, Smith notes that there's still areas the organization hopes to see addressed under the reforms.
So we'd love to see better definitions, updated language with things like discrimination, clearly defined classifications, maybe contract templates, things that will make the workforce better for both the employer and the employee.
As discussion around labor reform continues, one major point of debate has been the proposal of the introduction of 5 paid mental health days each year. Smith shared that the topic was heavily debated during the Society's recent forum. With nearly 60 members, she says that they have acknowledged that mental health days are needed.
In progressive organizations, those resources exist. So maybe it's just reconfiguring budgetary restrictions in the organization to allot for mental health days. So we're very mindful as human resources professionals, and I know that a lot of other stakeholders have been considering where the funding is coming from, but human resources is always thinking about the budget.
The reform includes key amendments to the Employment Industrial Relation Act, along with the expansion of maternity and paternity leave, which Smith says is fully supported for the working father in particular.
And I think that was universal in our discussions, figuring out how it is to be paid and making sure that, you know, the necessary benefits are in place with the National Insurance Board and all of those other stakeholders we want to ensure, but we want to make sure that paternity leave moves the needle just a little bit more to make sure that the fathers get some of the benefits that mothers enjoy.
While there is no confirmed timeline of when the new amendment will be in effect, Smith says that the organization is pleased to have a seat at the table and be a part of the ongoing dialogue.
We haven't had major changes to the Employment Act in decades. So a lot of us in the workplace may not have even benefited from changes in 2012, 2017. So this Employment Act has been in place for so many years. And we know that the workforce is changing. You mentioned COVID-19. I mean, some of the practices and principles that have happened pre-2020, they are just out of date.
Laurentia Smith, Eyewitness News.
Well, conservation with vision, quite the appropriate theme for a biosecure and environmentally controlled bank that it's been developed at the Atlantis Resort to breathe life into coral reefs that have been on the brink of survival. This is experts have often sounded the alarm on the lethal marine issues that are plaguing coral reefs, driving them to the brink of extinction. So this initiative could be considered an answered prayer for marine lovers. It's being spearheaded by resort executives who've partnered with the Perry Institute for Marine Science and government agencies to provide a safe haven for ocean treasures. Atlantis President Audrey Oswald asserting tonight why she and her team are backing this initiative with full support.
The Bahamas Coral Gene Bank is a living laboratory, a secure sanctuary built to sustain, study, and safeguard the genetic diversity of our coral species especially those most threatened by stony coral tissue loss disease and coral bleaching. These two devastating threats, one driven by disease, the other by the warming waters of climate change, are reshaping our reefs at an alarming pace. Through advanced scientific techniques, we can now collect, store, propagate, and eventually reintroduce resilient corals back into Bahamian waters, helping to restore reef ecosystems once these threats subside.
The reef-building species, the species that marine life in the Bahamas depend on, is threatened. Some of these species are at the brink of extinction. This coral crisis is just gaining momentum. But today, we really have new reason for hope in this fight against the decline of coral reefs.
Well, Minister of Agriculture and Marine Resources Jomo Campbell also asserting that the project has government's full support, adding that it aligns with the Davis administration's commitment to preserving the country's natural and marine environments.
This initiative reflects the power of collaboration between government, scientists, private partners, and local communities, all united by a shared vision to protect our natural heritage. It is through such partnerships that we will find lasting solutions to the environmental challenges before us. Ladies and gentlemen, let us recognize the urgency of this mission and renew our dedication to safeguarding the oceans that sustain us. Together, we can ensure that the vibrant colors of our coral reefs continue to thrive beneath the waves for generations to come.
Well, in recognition of World Oceans Day, LOM Financial Bahamas Limited has made a significant contribution to marine conservation, the company donating some $6,000 to the Bahamas National Trust to support mangrove restoration at Bonefish Pond. It's a vital ecological site situated in southwestern New Providence. Our Delano Roker has the story tonight.
Bonefish Pond National Park is home to the last remaining intact tidal mangrove ecosystem on New Providence, a critical habitat for fish nurseries, migratory birds, and a natural defense against climate change. But like many coastal ecosystems, it's under threat. LOM Financial President Craig Lyne says the $6,000 donation is part of a broader commitment to protecting and restoring the country's natural resources.
Supporting this initiative allows LM to fulfill our corporate commitment to preserving Bahamas' natural beauty, marine diversity, and ocean health. LM employees and their families will take an active role in restoration through helping in planting mangrove saplings in coordination with the BNT. LM Financial's Ocean Conservation Initiative not only includes mangrove restoration, but the sponsorship of such things as safe humpback whale corridors, other restoration projects, and with Brief actually locally also, and also educational initiatives in all the island jurisdictions we are located.
Bahamas National Trust Parks Manager Chantal Curtis says invasive species like Brazilian peppers and castorina have taken root in the area, spreading aggressively and outcompeting native mangroves, which are crucial for shoreline stability.
Invasive plants like castorina crowd out and outcompete native species. They also alter the natural landscape and make it more difficult for other native species like mangroves to thrive. Our removal process is carefully managed. We use both mechanical and chemical removal methods, more commonly a combination of both. At Bonefish Pond, our efforts are very targeted and strategic, so we don't need heavy equipment, and we follow up invasive removals with planting native vegetation to restore balance without causing further disturbance.
Curtis says the restoration work isn't just about the present, it's about preserving a critical ecosystem for future generations.
In the future, we hope to see Bonefish Pond as a fully functional, operational national park that is protecting a thriving mangrove ecosystem that is rich with bird life and fish, serve as a living classroom for students and visitors, and is providing many ecosystem services to Bahamians, such as helping to buffer climate impacts and provide a source of recreation.
Mangroves may not look like much to the untrained eye, but their value to the Bahamas is immense. They serve as carbon sinks, absorb storm surges, and provide nursery habitats for fish, crab, and conch, making them an essential line of defense against climate impacts. Delano Roker, Eyewitness News.
Well, in recent weeks, firefighters across the country have been battling a series of wildfires, leaving a significant impact not just on home and businesses, but our environment. The scale and intensity of these fires raising serious concern about forest health and climate resilience. Minister of the Environment and Natural Resources Von Miller says the government is closely monitoring the situation and is also ramping up efforts to protect vulnerable ecosystems. Minister Miller says many of these destructive fires are fueled by illegal dumping, piles of waste left in forested areas that not only pollute the land but often spark the flames themselves.
As a major trigger for forest fires, these fires endanger not only our ecosystems, but also human life, property, and public health. The smoke and the emissions reduce air quality in densely populated areas and contribute to respiratory illnesses, traffic disruptions, and the long-term health complications. The cumulative impacts such as biodiversity loss, land degradation, and strain on emergency services are no longer theoretical. Mr. Deputy Speaker, they are happening now, and they are unacceptable. This is not just an environmental crisis, Mr. Deputy Speaker. This is a national security issue.
Miller also highlighting the harsh reality of environmental threats, underscoring the urgent need to protect the nation's mangrove forests as a critical part of climate resilience and coastal defense.
Cannot be overstated. They protect our coastlines from storm surges. They reduce flooding. They anchor shorelines. And they serve as fish nurseries, carbon sinks, and biodiversity havens. In a time when climate change is fueling increasingly severe and frequent storms, the destruction of our mangroves poses a direct threat to human lives, to livelihoods, and our capacity to recover from disasters. The Bahamas, as one of the most climate vulnerable nations on earth.
Meantime, there's positive movement on the ground as it relates to the cleaning up of the International Bazaar in Freeport, Grand Bahama. In recent years, there have been numerous fires which have gutted the dilapidated structure, and some 2 years ago, the Grand Bahama Port Authority began engaging in discussions with the owners of the bazaar to see how best all parties can work together to clean up the area. This is to minimize hazards and to also make it attractive for possible investors. To date, some 13 buildings have been demolished.
So we prevailed in terms of making sure that we could go in and talk with any of the building owners. And so we were really adamant about that. We got about, I'd say, 95% of the building owners to agree. There's still some building owners that have not agreed. And so those buildings remain up. And so, we continue though, because we want to see the area cleaned up. We want to see new life, obviously one day breathed into the area as well. And so it's our task that we've taken on to try to demolish as many buildings as we can.
Some $3 billion worth of investments reportedly in the pipeline for Grand Bahama. Welchcomb says the GBPA remains hopeful that as cleanup efforts progress, investors will also see great promise in the area, which was once a bustling business mecca on the island.
I don't think you would really appreciate the area until all of the buildings are down and the area is cleaned and landscaped and what have you. But, we know that there's interest in the bazaar area, but we'd want, obviously, for that to be approached in a clean manner with everything down, and so that whichever investor may come, they can see the potential in the area. And so we're hoping that it definitely increases the prospects of that area by cleaning it up. And so we, put a clarion call also to those who still have buildings up. We're still willing to speak with you and to negotiate terms by which we can take down those buildings, remaining buildings.
Now, when it comes to keeping the wider community of Grand Bahama clean, that's where the Keep Grand Bahama Clean campaign comes into play. While the organization has been in operation for some 19 years, Sheriff Russell says she's the coordinator, and the GBPA environmental inspector says new litter trends are emerging. So the organization remains hard at work to not only ensure that communities stay clean, but also to raise awareness concerning the importance of keeping the island clean.
What we do see when we do cleanups, such as on Xanadu Beach, when you go into those derelict buildings or the areas that they are in, we see an enormous amount of garbage. So it's very embarrassing when we do take investors out to places as such, and you see so much garbage. And we always speak that we want you guys to protect this area, the mitigation efforts that they will put into getting and keeping that environment clean, and others, in addition to what they are going to buy and own and operate when we as Bahamians ourselves don't do that. So it's very embarrassing when you're trying to hold an investor to a certain standard and us as locals don't do the same. We're seeing this problem mushroom in areas that we haven't seen it before, and so it's giving everybody a negative feel. I feel like the cleaner the environment is, the better individuals will feel, the more we want to thrive and do better. So it's very important for us as individuals, us as business people, to try to keep our environment clean. We recently had a lot of fires in our forestry areas, and the amount of bottles were just embarrassing, overwhelming, and you try to get people to take part and clean it up, and they typically don't want to. Now, we have had collaboration with different organizations that have eagerly joined us to clean up their areas, and we thank them for that, but we need so much more, because we see washers, dryers, refrigerators, and those things are actually free to carry to the landfill. So the landfill is one of our partners that we have partnered with in trying to get the message out there on the low cost that they have implemented in order to get and keep Grand Bahama clean by getting persons to carry their debris there instead of dumping it.
Meantime, Father's Day is just days away, on Sunday to be exact, and the singing Bishop Lawrence Roll is planning a treat for the honorees that he hopes will leave smiles on their faces despite the struggles they may face being fathers. It's a special concert that the bishop says will feature community favorites, but most importantly, some special gifts will be offered to the men of the hour.
And somebody was talking just a while ago. We said, man, Father's Day feel like a funeral. It's so dead. I should say it like this. Women who knows the value of fathers and children who knows the value of fathers, we really need to lift the bar. Absolutely. We need to lift the bar for fathers. Sunday coming, we're going to try to reach out to at least about, of course, I work in Haitian community, I work among Haitian people. And so therefore, Sunday coming, I'm going to be at the British Colonial Hotel downtown. Doors open 4 o'clock. 5 o'clock, we kick off. I'm going to try to reach out to at least about 100 Haitian fathers in the community. I'm going to try to get them I'm going to try to get them their gifts as best as I could. I went out shopping on the day with the little I've got. And to those that can participate by bringing whatever, some kind of, whatever the fathers love, we put it in a little bag and give it to them. We just want to lift their spirits.
Well, no funerals on Father's Day, only celebrations. Still to come in Eyewitness News, a Grand Bahama business owner diving into ecotourism and share plans for the future. We've got that story, but first, here's a check on tonight's weather forecast.
You work hard to provide for and protect the ones you love. However, life can present unexpected challenges. Who you call in times of need matters. Insurance Management is a Bahamian-owned company that has been serving our community for over 40 years, offering a wide range of coverage for all of your personal, professional, and commercial needs. When life happens, rest easy knowing that our skilled and experienced agents are there for you in your time of need, so that you can get back to what matters most. Insurance Management. Nobody does it better.
Don't miss the Pulled Pork Festival this June 21st at the Arawak Cay Cultural Site. Come out for a day packed with slow-roasted pork, mouth-watering food, live music, and good vibes all around. Bring your friends, bring your appetite, and get ready for a flavor-packed experience you won't forget. It's the ultimate summer hangout. Mark your calendar and be there.
Hi, I'm Melissa, and I'm a survey enumerator with the Bahamas National Statistical Institute, or BNSI. For the next few months, we will be conducting the Household Expenditure Survey on various islands.
You might be wondering, why is this survey important? Well, it helps us to determine the poverty line and assess how to ensure everyone has access to the basic services they need. This information is used by the government, businesses, researchers, and students to make informed decisions and plan for the future. We know that your time is valuable, which is why we've made the survey as simple and easy as possible. And don't worry, all your information you provide is confidential.
Your participation will help us gather accurate information that will benefit everyone in the Bahamas. Thank you for your cooperation and being a part of shaping the future of the Bahamas.
You're watching Eyewitness News.
Welcome back. Well, we turn back to Grand Bahama tonight, where we talk to a business owner who's decided to literally dive into the business of ecotourism in West Grand Bahama. Theo Seeley introducing us to Keith Cooper in our most recent ongoing series with a focus on Grand Bahama Island. And in that report, he provided an in-depth overview of West End and the tours and its big plans on the horizon to diversify its product offerings through the Ministry of Tourism. Take a look.
In our most recent Grand Bahama Spotlight, we sat down for a chat with EcoTour owner Keith Cooper. His business, West End Ecology Tours, has been providing tourists and Bahamians with unique sea experiences, close encounters with stingrays, and other eco-habitats for decades now. But as Cooper ages, he's got his mind on how to grow his business to ensure that there's continuity for years to come.
I've always envisioned having qualified marine biology students and graduates learn about ecotourism, where now, rather than them waiting for this fantastic job in the marine science that they're trained in, they can now take that knowledge and use it as part of being a tourism guide. And I think that kind of opportunity is really the growth of the future in the 21st century for the Bahamas.
After doing business for some 20 years in these crystal clear waters just off the coast of West and Grand Bahama, Cooper says he counts it a privilege to be able to bring tourist business to this quaint side of the island. Now, as for the continuity of his business, he says he's got something unique in mind.
The image we want to portray with ecotourism and the sustainability of it is that we're employing people who are well qualified to be in that position. I think that enhances the value of the product even more. It gives notice to the guest. You're not just talking to somebody who's taking you on a boat ride and giving you an opportunity to interact. You're working with someone who actually knows the science behind the marine animal and can explain to you in layman terms what's going on, such as most marine biologists don't know the behavior of the animals they're dealing with. They only know the functionality of it. So I've decided that that idea of functionality and knowledge of the animal's anatomy per se, working together with an experience called ecotourism, it makes a lot of sense for the future to start programming our young people and our college students in that direction.
With the hope of attracting qualified and educated marine biologists to be part of a growing ecotourism industry on Grand Bahama, Cooper is just hopeful that local institutions can see the vision to begin steering Bahamian students in that direction.
The people who run these institutions, they have to buy into it first. They have to see the value of a student coming to them, paying for tuition, and then there is no guarantee they're going to have a job in that field when they get out. So rather than have to guess, here now we have a partnership between the University of the Bahamas, right, the Ministry of Tourism, the purveyors and the providers of ecotourism programming that relatively is supporting the sustainability of our country, partnering them from a business, educational, and government level makes it much more unique in terms of our ability to create these dynamically wonderful programs in almost every inhabited island in the Bahamas.
With a thriving business in West and Grand Bahama and a dream to one day expand ecotourism throughout the Bahamas, Cooper has a bit of advice for anyone seeking to venture into business.
And if you just think about what you have in front of you, see, sometimes we don't see the water for the sea, just like you don't see the forest for the trees. We can see the ocean, but then we can't see what's in it because you're not going to experience it. And that is where the real gold is. The real gold is not in the sunken treasures. The real goal is what God gave this country as an island nation to have this natural beauty for us to share with the world, and anyone can make a living off of it.
Reporting from Grand Bahama Island, I'm Theo Seeley, Eyewitness News.
Thanks, Theo. Well, still to come in Eyewitness News tonight, our Laurencia Smith has your latest check on sports right after this break.
Don't miss the Pulled Pork Festival this June 21st at the Arawak Cay Cultural Site. Come out for a day packed with slow-roasted pork, mouth-watering food, live music, and good vibes all around. Bring your friends, bring your appetite, and get ready for a flavor-packed experience you won't forget. It's the ultimate summer hangout. Mark your calendar and be there.
I want Bahama Grill when I get hungry. Call us at 356-4745. Barbecue pork ribs or baby back and the beef brisket. You got to try that. Add mac and cheese, potato salad, plantain and rice. I go too. Call 356-4745. I want Bahama Grill, morning, noon or night. Gunky gumbo's cold, grill or fry some soup and snapper. Fresh veg, green salad, even roast corn. Once you visit Bahama Grill, you want to come back.
Measles is on the rise around the world, and the Bahamas is at risk,
which makes us very vulnerable as a nation for the possible outbreak of measles cases.
Every Saturday in May from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., the Ministry of Health and Wellness will host MMR immunization visits in South Beach, Coconut Grove, Fox Hill, and Elizabeth Estates. Clinics in these areas will remain open until 8 p.m. twice per week. Get your child immunized now.
Join us on Social Mania, a new and dynamic game show based on the Ministry of Education's primary and junior high school social studies curriculum. Students from schools across the Bahamas go head to head as their knowledge of social studies is challenged. In this episode, Garvin Tynes Primary battles with Cleveland English Primary School. Which school will emerge as winner? To find out, join us as these two schools engage in intense competition. Don't miss it.
Eyewitness Sports is brought to you by 103.5 The Beat.
Good evening and welcome to another edition of Eyewitness Sports. I'm Lauren C. Smith. Thanks for joining us. A major overhaul of the athletic subvention structure has been proposed to ensure Bahamian athletes receive the resources and the support they need. Sports Minister Mario Bolek sharing this much during the budget debate. He says that the changes are aimed to strengthen athlete development and boost performance on the world stage. Bolek pointed out that the current two-tier model, development and elite, no longer reflects the evolving landscape of competitive sports. He says the system needs to be modernized to better support athletes at every stage of their journey. And here's what the new proposed subvention will look like.
Spans support across 4 levels: developmental, performance, elite, and world class. I want all of my athletes will be rising from 12,000 annually to 14,000. Performance tier athletes receiving 21,600 up from 19,600. Elite athletes moving to 26,600 and world-class athletes receiving 36,000 annually.
Meantime, Minister Bolek also revealed a number of upcoming policy changes to better manage and support the growing demands of athletes.
By international competitiveness structure and national impact. This approach will give federations a pathway to grow. To support this, we are introducing a tiered funding with annual grants from 10,000 to 80,000 and a merit-based special grant starting at 10% of your grant.
In the women's 100-meter semifinals, Anthea Charlton ran a personal best of 10.87 seconds in the heat 1 of 3, advancing to the final with a time tied for the fastest overall. That mark also makes her the 6th fastest performer in collegiate history. Charlton also impressed in the women's long jump, soaring to a best leap of 6.58 meters. Charlton also impressed in the women's long jump, soaring to a best leap of 6.85 meters. On her second attempt, finishing 5th out of 24 competitors. Early in the meet, Charlton teamed up with fellow Bahamian Quincy Penn and Gator teammates in the women's 4x100-meter relay semifinals. The ladies advanced to the finals with the 7th fastest qualifying time, posting a season best of 43.06 seconds, the 5th fastest relay time in school history. Meantime, Javonia Valcott, representing the University of Tennessee Volunteers, made her debut in the women 400-meter semifinals. She clocked a time of 51.65 seconds in the heat of the women's 400 meters, finishing 4th overall. Although she did not advance to the finals, her time ranked 13th overall. Valcott and the Volunteers also competed in the women's 4x400-meter relay semifinals. The team finished 3rd in their heat with a time of 3 minutes 3.02 seconds, placing them 15 overall, just short of qualifying for Saturday finals. Also in action, Zion Campbell and his teammates from the University of Minnesota. The team advanced to the finals of the men's 4x100-meter relay. The relay team stopped the clock at 38.16 seconds for a new school record and a second-place finish in their heat. Well, that's what's making sports at this hour. I'm Lauren C. Smith. Stay tuned for more news on the other side of the break.
You're watching Eyewitness News.
Well, that wraps up news this Friday, but coming up and Beyond the Headlines with Shanique Miller, it's a look at all of this week's top stories. That's coming up and Beyond the Headlines. That starts right after this. That does it for us here at Eyewitness News. It's certainly a pleasure having you in our company tonight. On behalf of the entire news team, I'm Janaea Nawal saying good night, be safe, have a great weekend, and happy Father's Day.
Tired of driving around from place to place just to get your car insured and licensed? Frustrated with the process of being back and forth from your insurance company to road traffic? Well, BMG Insurance Agents and Brokers just made insuring and licensing your motor vehicle as easy as 1, 2, 3. Step 1. Visit us at the Road Traffic Department, Section 1, Thomas A. Robinson Sports Stadium. At our office, you can purchase or renew your insurance or get your vehicle inspected. We at BMG Insurance Agents and Brokers represent major carriers. Step 2. See the professionals at Road Traffic to get your vehicle licensed. Step 3. Enjoy your day. Insure with BMG Insurance Agents and Brokers today, saving you time and money. Your one-stop shop for all of your insurance needs. Great rates, convenient, excellent service. For more information, call us at 322-2221.
We all know there are ways we can help. Your help can go even further. B.
Coming up tonight, outspoken activist Richard Johnson has been vocal in his allegations of corruption against the Royal Bahamas Police Force. Tonight, he has taken his issues with the force internationally. We talked to him to find out the reason for this renewed focus. Also tonight, Tourism Minister Chester Cooper says while tourism is booming, there is likelihood of headwinds ahead, headwinds that could impact the industry. We talk about that. Also tonight, after dismissing Killarney MP Hubert Minnis, the FNM has embarked on a new fight against Minnis, brought on after Minnis insisted he's running this week. Is Minnis being difficult? That's the question. But we'll talk about that as well coming up. This is Beyond the Headlines. Good evening. It's Week in Review Fridays. I'm Shanique Miller. It's great to have you along this evening. Well, Richard Johnson says after more than 2 years of being denied justice and what he feels is a real effort from the police force, he, or lack thereof, he's no longer trusting or even has faith in the force and that they can give him that justice. He's now taken his grievances internationally. Johnson is joining me this evening to talk about what steps he has taken just this week to speak with international organizations on how he feels. Richard, good evening to you. Welcome to Beyond the Headlines. It's good to have you here. You know, I thought to question you about this because I don't like when people, we see people on social media saying they've filed grievances with different international agencies. And for you, somebody who has sort of been front and center and very vocal about a number of things or any number of things to now figure you're going to take the police force and take this route. Right. First of all, welcome to the show. Good evening to you. What's happening?
Thank you, Shanique, and good evening to everybody. Good night. Shanique, as you know, from 2023 or the late part of 2022, there's been an ongoing dispute between myself and the leadership of the FNM. As you know, I was attacked at the FNM headquarters in 2023 after they would have lost miserably to that by-election. Since that, there have been some compelling evidence as to say, well, we have some information on this story. I have never been, I've never been briefed on that story. There was never no justice. There was never no forthcoming on who would have done it.
You mean briefed on this new evidence that came forth?
Well, there are several matters here. So you have the incident at the FNM headquarters where I was initially attacked. You have the death threat that I received early part of this year in Grand Bahama.
Oh.
Then you would have had my billboards would have destroyed for the second time. And so we have
How recent? So earlier this year, you were given death threats.
Yes, ma'am.
This happened directly to you.
Directly to me. I was in Grand Bahama to the local government by-election. I received the call telling me that if I don't get Batean Pintard, my head will be blown off.
If you don't do what?
If I don't get Batean Pintard, Batean Pintard, my head will be blown off.
Oh.
So the officers in Grand Bahama, I want to commend them. Officer Ware and Officer Johnson, aggressively dealt with that matter. The person is currently in custody, charged before the court. But let me tell you about that. He's not in custody, he's not in prison because of my matter. He's in prison for another matter that he committed, offense he committed. I don't know if you heard, allegedly someone robbed the ATM in Coral Harbor. Well, he was a part of that particular robbery, allegedly. So he is now in custody, remanded because of that matter, not of my matter.
So where's your matter of threats of harm and even worse, threats of ending your life?
So the matter of the threats of harm or death, that is a Freeport matter, because that's where the incident took place. That's where the report was given when I was in Grand Bahama. The first case, the first time we went to court, that never materialized because we got some dates mixed up. The second time, it was put off. The gentleman, I fly into Grand Bahama, the fella never came to court. And I just want to let you know though, but he's on bail. He was on bail on that matter. I never showed up to court the second time. And then had his relative come to the court and to give a letter to tell the judge, well, he's running late.
What?
But he never showed up.
I never showed up.
So a bench warrant was put on him. But guess what? He only got back in custody now because he was caught up in another matter. So again, we don't even know that he was going to ever be arrested for the first matter.
The reason you are as angry as you are, because when I heard, when we see other people dragging the police force and anything internationally, it's disturbing.
Correct.
And so when I heard you saying you're going to international bodies, I'm like, wait a minute, what is this? Let me hear it. Perhaps if you come on a platform and speak about it, maybe the force would somehow reach out to you. So you were saying after being attacked at F&M headquarters
in 2023,
then this threats of death in Grand Bahama this year.
Correct, early part of this year, January this year.
And what else happened recently?
And then I would have had a event that I normally have every year.
Right, because you came here to talk about it.
So I would have had 5 to 6 billboards around the island at the major spots. 3 of those were vandalized. I made the report initially April 19 to this date. I've never received a follow-up on those billboards. In fact, they were tear down again this week. This week they were tear down again. And so what I had to do then, because I was literally going to move them after the event. And so I got a call, saying, listen, these boards are down again. And what we did, the first time we got the complaint that the boards were down, we went and we had to re-brace them stronger. So you had to physically come back again and destroy the billboards. And as you know, Shanique, Sanders Beach has 3 cameras. The mall has 2 cameras. Apparently, 2 of the cameras, one ain't working, and the next one ain't looking in that angle. And then the one at Sanders Beach, they just don't work. But my billboards were destroyed. And so after I started making noise and carrying on by and bringing awareness to why is it that every time that I put complaints into the police force, I can't get no justice. And so I'm saying, listen, I'm getting sick. I'm tired of this.
Yes. Are you even called in and spoken to? What's happening?
No. What happened was, since that, I got a call that, listen, we was told to leave your matter, to address this matter now, even though we have pending matters. This would have been on, I believe, Wednesday or Thursday morning. And since that officer who called me from CID, he never called me back. But he told me the reason why he called me today is because he got a call to directly deal with my matter, and he'll get back to me.
Today as in today?
As of, well, he talked to me on Wednesday, today is Friday. So we never got a follow-up. Shanique, I met with ACP Ramming, ACP Hines at the police headquarters. That would have been Tuesday or Wednesday. They came inside the meeting. They tried their utmost best to try to tell me, listen, man, we're working with it. We do apologize because we don't do follow-ups. However, we will get back to you so far.
What do you think? As somebody who I would say has a good deal of leverage in this nation, and certainly you use it from time to time. Your voice is out there. You your own leverage in many instances. What are you saying is the state of the force when you don't feel as though somehow you're being dealt with justifiably? That these very serious matters, especially those threats of harm and the rest and the other incidents, that you are right here, right now, this evening.
That's why I'm here. So again, Shanique, where I live, I had to personally outfit that with a lot of security stuff. Okay, obviously I don't live my life in fear, but I'm not a macho man, and and I'm not the biggest, baddest man in the world. But I cannot be naive. I have to still consider that my safety at any point in time, or my life could be in danger at any point in time. And so what I did, I said, listen, y'all are not following up with me. You are not giving me justice. You're not acting as if that my complaint is valid. You're not respecting what I say. You could look at the facts. You could look at the evidence. You could look at the witness statement. You could all of these things that I've said, listen, these people are specifically, a group of people are specifically targeting Richard Johnson. I need your help. I need y'all to investigate. I need y'all to bring someone guilty for what they're doing to me. And again, there is no urgent care. There's none. There's none. So maybe if I could promise them a promotion, maybe if I could promise them, I don't sell nothing, Janique. I don't sell them things, neither. I don't have no thing where I can sell you nothing. But it's sad to say that, listen, yes, we do have members of the Royal Bahamas Police Force who are competent, who are able, and who do their job thoroughly. But yes, equally we have officers in the force that who brushes you aside, who works for who works for the political directive, and they will not do anything to assist you. And I'm convinced, Shanique, on live television today, that my matter is being politically directed for those so they could get whatever they get at the end of the day.
Now, you have made very strong allegations, one of corruption. How do you explain that allegation?
So, as you know, Michael Johnson, the then former chief responsible for CDU, at the time when he was responsible for CDU, he would have had my filed. And me and him had some war words. And how he handled me, that's what got me that conclusion. But Shanique, you know the God that we serve, he don't play, you know. You see where he is today? He's out of the force. And every day on Sunday, you hold up holy hands. He can pray all he want. The deeds what he have committed on the force, nothing happening. Going ahead and praise. That man got plenty to answer to God for.
God is God.
Yeah, he's a God of justice and a God of forgiveness. But that Michael Johnson, you don't have to worry. His days are numbered. And that's what got me to that conclusion.
Do you think it's sort of just too broad a statement, though, for you to paint the entire organization?
I'm not painting the entire police force. I want to say publicly that Anthony Corpse-Roll, who is a friend of mine, who is a senior police officer, who at any point in time when I give him a call, he answers my call. And he doesn't know special favors. I say, Corpse, I'm having an issue with this matter. How best are you going to rectify this for me? And I can tell you, he goes beyond the call to make sure that I'm satisfied, not for my benefit, but ensure, listen, Richard, to remove any doubt, any biasness. Yes, we're going to address the matters. And he's been very accommodating to me. Yeah. I consider but Anthony Corpse-Roll and other officers on the force who I speak to on a daily basis.
You've also taken this internationally.
Correct.
What does that mean?
So I've made I have some friends in media, and they have given me some, internationally, they have given me some contacts. I talked to two already. I won't call their names. They are prepared to meet with me sometime next week.
And what are you saying to them?
So I'm going to tell them that, listen, me and many Bahamians, we have issues and doubts that relates to our Royal Bahamas Police Force. The government of the Bahamas, clearly, I don't know why they can't intervene to an extent because of constitutional separations. But again, we are saying, listen, why is it that a man like me, who is an activist, Shanique, who fight for people every day, who fight for reserve police officers who didn't get paid months and months and time, and I'm always fighting. I want to say, I meet people on an everyday basis, Shanique, and people say, Richard, I commend the work that you're doing, standing up for the poor man. But again, Richard is making legitimate complaints to the agency that
and can't seem to get anywhere.
And I can't get nowhere. And again, and I'm going to say again, Shanique, I don't care how you cut this. I believe that the political directed, not in government, in opposition.
No, man. Richard,
Yes, sir.
Richard,
yes, sir.
Richard,
yes, sir. I personally believe that.
Alleged report.
I believe that.
Richard, you cannot say that you feel whoever these officers are that's taking your statements and the rest of it are somehow being interfered with or by the opposition or members of the opposition.
I can't say that. I can't say allegedly that I believe that the political directive.
But that's what you were saying?
I'm standing by that. I believe that the opposition have members in the Royal Bambese Force who's working with them against me. I make no apologies for that, Shanique. My life has been, I've been physically attacked. I received a death threat. So no one can tell me what I can and can't say, because no one knows how I feel. All right? No one knows how I feel. And I'm sick and tired of it.
I know you've spoken, you said, with two international members of the media already. What's their response been when you...
Obviously, you know, there will be checks and balances before we even have that conversation. And currently, right now, that's what they're doing. And so I won't call their name, I won't call the agencies, but they are willing to speak with me at some point next week. And so I'm prepared to speak with them. And if the Bahamas government and someone get mad, that's their business.
And you don't care?
I don't care. You had an opportunity to fix it. You had an opportunity to get the matter resolved. All of a sudden now my phone could ring because everybody would talk to me because they figured we could rectify it. Richard, you're taking it up a portion. Give them an opportunity. 3 years? I must give you an opportunity of 3 years? No, Shanique, I can't do that. My life could have been taken away from me in 2023 at the FNM headquarters. To this day, I got no resolve in the matter. After there were members of the financial movement who were questioned by police, the police had sufficient lead to question them regarding my matter. And to this day, Shanique, there has been no cost on that matter. I want to thank the police in Grand Bahama who charged the young man who's in custody now for the death threat. I want to thank them in Grand Bahama. But some Nassau, I don't know what the issue is. I believe when Richard Neame come in there, just squash it aside.
This isn't for you to answer. This is another segment coming up, but I want to ask you this: what is happening with Dr. Minnis? How is he running, etc.? And then this new fight. I know you're not used. You have said and insisted you're not a part of the FNM. But what's your thought about his statement on Wednesday, and then now the fact that the FNM is doubling down? That listen, dude, you've been rejected. Right. Please go. Yeah. Hit the road.
I want to ask Dr. Sand something. Did Minnis took your girlfriend from you in 2020 and you was in school?
No, Richard.
Did Minnis take your high school girlfriend or your biddy or your movie? Because obviously you have a serious issue with Dr. Minnis. You ran here talking about the former administration. No one will hear about that. No one will hear about you. Because you was fired by Dr. Minnis.
Richard,
but you ain't no good.
Richard.
And you was Pablo. Stop liking man, Dr. Sam.
Richard, stop. Richard, now you stop that. Because
stop liking man.
No,
Minnis don't like man.
Stop.
Okay.
Stop. Because I see, wait a minute. Listen.
All right.
First of all, I have no issue with the FNM and certainly not with Dr. Sands.
This is not a likable contest, actually. This is not a likable contest. Dr. Sands is a stop liking man. Minnis don't like man.
He has never been, ever. What? Listen, there's never been any cloud of whatever over Dr. Sands' head to suggest any such thing, Richard.
I said stop liking man. Because obviously you've had on for Dr. Minnis. Minnis is a guy in the college who's look at women all he likes.
No, but Richard, again, I think you're being unfair because what Dr. Sands responded to, I heard you, Justin, what he responded to as chairman of the FNM is to say, basically, listen, Dr. Minnis, you are not going to be a distraction for this organization. We're going to continue moving ahead.
But if you didn't tell the man you'll give him the nomination, Shanique, what you still working the man for? He can stand up in the parliament and say, I'm running. What that has to have to do with you? Why Dr. Sands don't go deal with Elizabeth? Why? And guess what? How about this? Go challenge Minnis and Galani. Go and Galani and challenge Minnis. Dr. Sands, stop liking man. Minnis say he never like man in life. He like woman.
This is Beyond the Headlines. I'm back right after this.
What you doing there? I'm getting ready for this heat, boy. But you want to see what's in this box? The ghost pepper chicken sandwich, boy. Get an apple pie, fries, and ghost pepper chicken wing. You see it? You looking at me? Four. Yeah, boy.
Try our new ghost pepper chicken box today. Available for a limited time only.
Love that chicken from Popeyes.
Don't miss the Pulled Pork Festival this June 21st at the Arawak Cay Cultural Site. Come out for a day packed with slow-roasted pork, mouth-watering food, live music, and good vibes all around. Bring your friends, bring your appetite, and get ready for a flavor-packed experience you won't forget. It's the ultimate summer hangout. Mark your calendar and be there.
Measles is on the rise around the world, and the Bahamas is at risk,
which makes us very vulnerable as a nation for the possible outbreak of measles cases.
Every Saturday in May from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., the Ministry of Health and Wellness will host MMR immunization visits in South Beach, Coconut Grove, Fox Hill, and Elizabeth Estates. Clinics in these areas will remain open until 8 p.m. twice per week. Get your child immunized now.
If you enjoy watching Beyond the Headlines, take advantage of our exclusive offers with 4 15-minute interview segments at $1,200 and 20 30-second TV ads at $2,000. Contact 557-0258 or 557-0259 for more information. Go beyond with Beyond the Headlines.
This segment of Beyond the Headlines is brought to you by EV Motors. Drive the future with brand new 2024 electric vehicles. EV Motors, powering your journey.
Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines. Well, despite strong tourism growth in the first 4 months of the year, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Tourism Chester Cooper is cautioning that the Bahamas could face headwinds in the months ahead, including a potential U.S. recession and a slowdown in travel bookings. We get the story from Laurencia Smith, and then we'll come back and discuss.
Could a looming recession in the United States take a toll on the nation's #1 industry, tourism? Deputy Prime Minister and Tourism Minister Chester Cooper says it's a reality we can't afford to ignore. In his budget contribution on Thursday, Cooper outlined the challenges facing the country's bread and butter industry as the global financial pressures, including the possible 2025 recession, cast a shadow over growth.
And whether it materializes or not, this forecast alone will impact many would-be travelers who are likely to take a cautious approach to travel. The point is this: uncertainty shortens booking windows, making the business less predictable.
Despite the challenges, Cooper says the country's close proximity to the U.S. gives us a clear advantage, especially when it comes to last-minute, impulsive travelers.
Off the coast of Florida, we can boast that. Nobody else can boast it. And it ain't gonna change no time soon, Mr. Deputy. No. We have a strong brand. We have multiple destinations within the Bahamas and all the natural beauties and attributes that we boast.
And Cooper says that his team is prepared to keep the country as the first choice for travelers, no matter the economic climate.
And we will continue to use traditional marketing strategies that work, as well as digital marketing and AI-powered tools. And there is no doubt that given the challenges, we will need to spend more to achieve the same results.
Now turning attention to the tourism numbers. Arrivals for the first 4 months of the year are up 11.7% compared to the same period last year. Cooper says from January to April, foreign and sea arrivals hit 4.3 million, a significant jump from the 3.9 million recorded during the same period of 2024.
So Paradise Island, our flagship destination, saw total arrivals grow from 1.8 million in 2024 to 2.05 million this year. That's an increase of 10% per year, year over year. Nassau Paradise Island welcomed over 493,000 air arrivals from January to April 2025, compared to 500,000 in the same period, a slight decrease. Yet it's still up 9.1% from the 2019 figures.
Silver Airways' bankruptcy dealt a blow to the country's airlift, but new airline partnerships are already stepping up to take flight, especially in the Canadian market.
Partnerships with Sunwing, Air Canada, WestJet, and another major carrier that we are going to announce shortly. These additions are critical to unlocking more of the Canadian market and extending the reach of our family islands.
Laurencia Smith, Eyewitness News.
Well, there you have it. Of course, that presentation happened during the budget debate that is still ongoing, and the Minister of Tourism talked about a number of things. I found very interesting this sort of new relationship that will be manifested very soon with Emirates. I think that's the official name, the Emirates airline, the top-notch, top-notch in the world, really. But I want to bring in the hot topics, the contributors right now. Beyond the Headlines contributors Leslie Miller and Garth Horsborough. Gentlemen, good evening to you. Certainly is nothing anybody want to even fathom and think about right now, a session. Everybody somehow is speculating of what will happen in the U.S. economy. Meanwhile, the U.S. isn't necessarily saying it, in certain quarters it's being said, but other than that, widely they're saying the economy is headed in a good direction. But your thoughts about what the Minister of Tourism and Deputy Prime Minister had to say, just very briefly as a response?
There are going to be some concerns. And good night, by the way, to everyone. Shanique Miller, thank you for having us on once again. And for those people who support Beyond the Headlines, when they continue to do so, we do enjoy having a conversation and sharing our opinions with you. It would be wise, however, to forecast as such, knowing that Social Security in the United States is being under somewhat of a threat. What is happening in America with all of the immigration situations of deporting individuals through ICE and other agencies back to their original countries or otherwise, you're going to have a windfall in America. The labor force in terms of construction, in terms of the migratory workers working in the orchards with the oranges and the other crop in America, all of these things are going to take effect. What that does mean is that if you do not have laborers to work doing the type of work that you do not yourself want to do, then it means then that there's going to be a lack of those people employed. If those people are not employed, those people who are on social services, if you do not have social services, then what do? It means you have to go and find employment in order to sustain yourself. Many people are naturally at some time in their life lazy, do not want to work. They would like to get a free check, a free ride, as it were. And what President Trump is saying, Shanique Miller, is that there's no more free ride. We're going to take that free ride away from you. If you want to have your Nike, if you want to have your Michael Kors and all the other name brand things, it's not going to be with federal money. You got to go out there and work. You got to go pick some oranges. You got to go do some construction. For you people who are unemployed, you said you can't find work. But guess what? There's going to be a whole lot of work for you to find. And so the monies that are readily available to people, I think you can take a quick cruise to the Bahamas. As Mr. Cooper said, just 50 miles away, you can jump on a cruise ship for under $1,000, you and a loved one, and enjoy the Bahamas. That is no longer going to happen because many people just won't go to work. That's what's going to happen. And so we can expect a downward spiral in terms of the amount of people that are going to be coming to our shores. And he's basically telling us, we got to be prepared for it.
Good evening, Shanique. Good evening, Bahamas.
Good evening.
The major financial institution in the United States, those that control Wall Street, is indicating that there may be a slowdown in the economy. But just this week, there were other indications that the economy is in fact improving. That the cost of living has gone down in the United States. The cost of fuel has just gone down over the weekend. Their holiday, they had a dramatic increase, some 18%, the cost of fuel. I think what is happening now with the United States now getting or trying to rid themselves of all the illegal immigrants. Just this morning, the president, Mr. Trump, had to make a change again. He's now saying that the farmers, they can keep their employees. He's now saying that the hotel industry that depends on these same foreign workers who are supposedly illegal, they don't know whether they're legal or not in some cases, he will prohibit them from getting them out of the country. So it's this up and down situation that scares the market in New York. But most of the major financial institutions is saying that between now and the third quarter, fourth quarter in the year, the United States economy should stabilize. I think this impending war now between Iraq and Israel, which just began this morning again, but Israel bombing them because they feel confident that the United States have all their ships in that area, that they can do what the hell they please. We have to see what's going to happen. I think the Bahamian economy is so susceptible to tourism that anytime there's a shift in the market, we will suffer some of the consequences. There's hope for our sake and the rest of the region's sake that that is not the case. So let's look for a better future.
Yeah, absolutely. We certainly speak all the best towards that end, for sure. Let's move along, gentlemen. Is there is the FNM at war with itself or one another? And I ask this because former Prime Minister Dr. Eyewitness is said and maintained he's running, but has not also said that he's not an FNM any longer, that he isn't. In fact, he said he's an FNM. He also said this week he intends to run in the Kalani constituency in the next general election. Now, of course, this despite repeated declarations by the party leadership, headed by Michael Pintard, that Minnis will not be given a nomination on a Free National Movement's ticket. Minnis, however, insists that he is running, but providing no further detail if he intends to run as an independent or with another political organization.
Kalani must remain strong. I want to remind them that I am running in Kalani, and I look forth to their vote, and I look forth to their continuous support.
Amen.
We must keep Kalani strong.
Yes, sir.
Kalani will remain strong. We will deal with the road repair issues of South Ocean. We will deal with the flood issues that we see on Frank Watson Highway. And we're about to deal with the signage problem on Devonshire and Yorkshire. And I've been assured by the minister the pothole in the western end of Yorkshire is being addressed. Mr. Deputy, keep Kalani strong.
But listen, that right there rubbed the FNM the wrong way. Very strong words, I tell you that. Minnis is standing on business, that's for sure. But the FNM say standing on what business? Dude, we didn't say you ain't getting a nomination. Go sit down. You are now a distraction. In fact, in a statement issued, I think it was late Wednesday evening, I believe, the FNM says the Bahamian people have made their views clear on the politics and policies of the Minnis-led administration. The FNM has listened, and we are not looking back. That's right, they say no turning back. We look forward to presenting candidates who reflect our values, our vision, and the future we believe in for the Bahamas. And that's it. Very brief, very much to the point. Now, many people ask, I even had to reach out to party officials and say, is this an authentic response? Because I figured the FNM has no reason, none whatsoever, to respond to Dr. Minnis. Dr. Minnis just doing what he's doing in order to do just that. Get them to rile them up, I feel. Gentlemen, your thoughts. Was I right in saying, man, the FNM shouldn't respond to Minnis? Minnis has every right to just keep doing this as much as he wants to. But they responded. That is what they said. And people were like, dang, what the dickens? How y'all could come out swinging like that on somebody who, by all intents and purposes, doesn't exist?
Who's an integral part of the cabinet? Dr. Sands is saying that they have moved on, that Dr. Minnis' administration was rejected by the Bahamian people. But he was an integral part of that. He was the minister of the government. And he was fired from the same government that he's saying the Bahamian people rejected. They rejected him also.
Yes.
So why would he go after Dr. Minnis when he was part of the same group of men and women who led our country for some 4.5 years? I find that most diabolical and insulting to Dr. Minnis and insulting the Bahamian people for him to share himself out of the ambit of what he was. Mm-hmm. He was an integral part. He was the senior minister. And he's saying that his policies wasn't right. Now we're going to move on from him. But you were there. Wow. I don't know what you got to say, my brother, but I just, these guys got to stop playing games, man.
Garth Leslie is saying that this is new leadership, you know. Leslie, be fair. It's a new leadership with a new vision, new trajectory.
They're the same old men and women who were there.
Garth, your thoughts?
Well, what I could recall is the by-election before the 2012 election. Dr. Sands was a candidate in Elizabeth, and he was rejected.
Yes.
I recall that Dr. Sands was also the candidate in the general election of 2012, and he was rejected. He was accepted, however, in 2017, and was given the benefit of sitting in the cabinet of the same Dr. Hubert Alexander Minnis as the Minister of Health. Yes, he was dismissed from that particular administration, but he did attempt once again to vie in the 2021 election, in which once again he was rejected.
Exactly.
If we're talking about rejection, who was more rejected historically in the last 10 years other than Dr. Dwayne Sands, We have always said that you are a great physician. No one takes that away from you. You may even be a great family man. But we've all stood together and said to you, you are not a politician. You have now become the chairman of the Free National Movement. And once again, you are stating to us that the Free National Movement is on the right trajectory futuristically. We've also heard something mentioned also from Tommy Turnquest, who's saying that the Free National Movement is going in the right direction. So Dr. Sands and Tommy Turnquest, yes, I do recall saying that. I did recall saying that on media.
Recently?
And, yes, recently. And so remember now when Hubert Alexander Ingram said, if you need help, you can ask Brent, you can ask Tommy. Why did he include Tommy Turnquest in that? You know?
Because that he eliminated in 2007, don't forget.
Okay, so you're asking these people as leaders in the FNM, which tells that Tommy Turnquest still has some leadership, I guess, basically sway in the Free National Movement. His influence is still there, but you're talking to people who have not been victorious in the past. We do not look at them in a victorious fashion. And so if you're listening to the council of people, let me just say it straight, Shanique Miller, who are losers. If you are listening to losers, then what do you expect in 2026 other than a loss? If these people are telling you you're going in the right direction, listen to me. If I met someone who's a loser and they tell me I'm going in the right direction, my God, I got to turn around 180 degrees. Not the Bahamian 360, 180 degrees, the right direction, the next direction. I got to run away from you because if you're going in the right direction, I got to be in the wrong direction.
I assure you, it's Colby Davis.
So when we look at the Dr. Miller situation, like Leslie Miller just said in the studio with you, Shanique Miller, guess what? You have already succeeded in dismissing yourself from this former prime minister. Yeah. You tell me, why in the heck do you always have to now go back to your vomit and put Dr. Minnis to the forefront of your conversation?
So you're saying that it was a misstep to even respond to Dr. Minnis Wednesday?
Responding to who? He's a ghost. You've already gotten rid of him. He's now demised to the Free National Movement.
Why give him more wind? He did not need this new resurgence of whatever. Like
Dr. Minnis is a genius. He is a genius. He's going to be the thorn in your flesh, the pain in your buttocks. He's not going anywhere. And the fact that he has said, Shanique Miller, that I am an FNM, meaning an FNM by heart, even if you do not have him as an FNM by spirit, I mean in terms of membership, he's an FNM by spirit and by heart. And the mere fact that he's in the heart of many FNMs, he's going to be a menace to you. He's not going anywhere. And he's telling you that he is going to run. And not only is he going to run, he's also going to win. Now, we ask the question, Shanique Miller, is Marco City going to win? Is St. Barnabas going to win? And what about the chairman himself? Do you really think he's going into Elizabeth to win? The FNM is in deep trouble. Everybody knows it. I've encouraged him, Shanique Miller, to go ahead and find new leadership. Otherwise, if you continue to listen to Tommy Turnquest and Dwayne Sands, you're looking at an utmost, for lack of a better word, defeat.
Veteran politician Alfred Sayers has bowed out. The Fort Charlotte Member of Parliament, this all happened this week, officially says he's not seeking a nomination ahead of the 2026 general election. Now, you remember, just a little history, this was also said and stated by North Eleuthera MP Sylvanus Petty, as well as Mike Hall MP, that they will not be seeking nomination for 2026. So, the question is, will he or won't he? I am referring to that question that's lingering as it relates to Long Island Member of Parliament Adrian Gibson, who also spoke in Parliament this week on the budget. In fact, he did so yesterday. This was a discussion. This discussion was in the newsroom. That during his presentation, he made no indication as to what his plans are. But what do you think? Do you think he is a distraction that the FNM should have put out there? Just put it out there. So at least that's not something that's a distraction to say, no, this one ain't getting no nomination. Or have they already said that?
He's been told forthright he's not going to get a nomination.
So he's been told that?
He knows that. He knows that.
I'm saying they've already stated this officially.
He's not getting a nomination. And the good gentleman, Mr. Johnson, who's the MP for the eastern area up there.
Who's this?
Who was on their show?
Ellsworth Johnson.
Good man. He isn't getting a nomination either.
Now, have you all heard this? Ellsworth is not getting...
He's not getting a nomination. He knows that. He's been told that point blank.
I would say this very quickly, Shanique.
That's a fact.
People don't understand. We come here and Shanique throw these things at us and we got to respond with our opinions, but I appreciate that. Listen to me. Adrian Gibson, if you look at his character and his person, his ability to present the people of Long Island, I would say he's an extremely strong person. Elizabeth Johnson, Mr. Leslie Miller is an extremely strong person. Hubert Alexander Minnis is an extremely strong person. Yeah. It is extremely clear to us tonight here Beyond the Headlines that the leadership of the F&M is afraid of strong people, and anyone who's threatened to be strong, they're going to be dismissed. This is the history of Bahamian politics. We get rid of the strong, we accept the weak, and our country continues to stay as a weak country. We got to be stronger and love these strong people.
When we come back, are you all satisfied with exactly how it's going to play out there in North Eleuthera in terms of the glass window bridge? Well, we'll talk about that because the Minister of Works gave an explanation for that $86 million budget that's assigned to the new glass window bridge. We're going to talk about it when we come back after the break.
Kalani.
The internet isn't just for surfing. There's a sea of shoppers buying online, and you can connect with them on Tingsy. Tingsy is the SBDC's online storefront built for Bahamians. Take your business to the next level by selling to customers online, both at home and around the world. People want Bahamian things, and if you got things to sell, sell on Tingsy. Find out how you can connect with a sea of buyers by visiting tingsybahamas.com.
I am a master plumber by profession. I've been doing plumbing for over 40 odd years. When I was 9 months old, I was diagnosed with polio. To me, living with polio, I took it the way it is. I never allowed my polio to get in my way of anything. In fact, I love when people doubt me, and I just prove them wrong. And let me tell you, in the world, you could only find a plumber as good as me, but you ain't gonna find no plumber better than me. People with disability, they just need a chance. In this program, I feel so encouraged. Most of the mentors have different kind of disability, but disabilities like me. Sharing and caring and showing so much support with people with disability. They would encourage you to go beyond. I wish this was around a long time ago. Right now, I would have been a millionaire. You out there who have a disability, don't be afraid. Take the step. If you believe it, you could achieve it. And remember one thing, ain't no one better than me, and ain't no one better than y'all. God made all us equal.
For more information about how the SBDC can help your small business to make a big impact, give us a call at 461-7232 or visit sbdcbahamas.com.
7.5 years, but I walk in here all of a sudden, total stranger. I'm calling you Rick and Sheila like.
I win. At Island Lock, we take sports seriously. Get ready to experience the thrill of winning anytime and any place. Bet in real time and live the thrill of every play while watching your winnings stack up. It's your chance to score big with fast payouts and a world-class experience. Get in the game and bet the Bahamian way with Island Lock Sportsbook.
So you want a space. But not just any space. You need something with a little more potential. So how about 1,000 square feet of room to play with? Superb audio and video production capability, digital LED wall, full lighting grid, and about 124 seats to accommodate a full studio audience with so many other features. Make us your home for your next concert, conference, and so much more. Honestly, the possibilities are endless. Here at ILTV Studios, we'd love to bring your next event to life. So what do you say? Do you want our space?
If you enjoy watching Beyond the Headlines, take advantage of our exclusive offers with 4 15-minute interview segments at $1,200 and 20 30-second TV ads at $2,000. Contact 557-0258 or 557-0259 for more information. Go beyond with Beyond the Headlines.
Information on the Glass Window Bridge is now public. The final price tag for the Glass Window Bridge project in North Eleuthera has been revealed. Minister of Works and Family Island Affairs Clay Sweeting shared the high costs that it says it comes down to difficult terrain and complex logistics at the site. We're going to hear from Laurencia Smith, and then we're going to come back and give our opinions and thoughts.
There has been growing questions about the price tag of the new glass window bridge in Eleuthera, especially for members of the opposition. While the previous administration projected the cost around $30 million, the latest estimated price now puts that price tag even significantly higher. Minister of Works and Family Island Affairs Clay Sweeting says that the new estimated price is $86.3 million, which is inclusive of value-added tax. He wasted no time answering the opposition questions during his budget contribution on Wednesday morning.
And let me say by the onset, Clay Grenford Sweeting, the Member of Parliament for Central and South Eleuthera, doesn't cost any bridge in the Ministry of Works. Again, I reiterate that these costs are estimates by the engineers at the Ministry of Works. The same is being solidified and will be spelled out in the tender document, which is forthcoming.
The bridge spans 2,218 feet and is located just north of Georgetown on the northern end of the island. Sweeting says that while the design is fairly straightforward, the location makes construction logistically complex. The preliminary cost includes a visitor center, which is estimated around $3.5 million.
Staff accommodation and shipping costs, 18.2. Preliminary costs for site compound, equipment, lighting, security, utilities, utility diversions, and traffic management, 6.4. Temporary works, including landing dock, hall road, piling mat, road pad, and jacking barge, 17.4. Road works, 4.4. North Approach Bridge, $2 million. The actual bridge itself, 25.4.
Meanwhile, Sinan's Member of Parliament and the Free National Movement representative for the Ministry of Works stood on a point of order criticizing the government over the ballooning cost of the bridge project.
And we repaired the glass window bridge, and we also completed engineering studies and plans for a new glass window bridge as a modern tourist attraction. I would recommend that the good member stick to what he's actually achieving. Mr. Deputy Speaker, the public will note that this is the first time in 4 years the government hasn't brought one single display board of a completed project. Everything they're talking about is only on writing, nothing to show the people, Mr. Deputy Speaker.
According to the draft estimate of revenues and expenditures of the 2025-2026 fiscal year, the government is guaranteed an $80 million loan that will be secured through the Bridge Authority to fund the project. Laurencia Smith, Eyewitness News.
Well, gentlemen, your thoughts. Of course, I had on the show Wednesday evening the Minister of Works, Clay Sweeting, to talk just about that because that's been a major issue. You all heard Adrian White questioning it, questioning the new total, the new price tag. And Sweeting talked about all the work involved. You heard the breakdown of it, the fact that it's going to be a major tourism center and another sort of tourist attraction for Eleuthera and North Eleuthera in particular. Your thoughts, but just with shopping, with all the different stuff, eatery and all that stuff. This is how you break it, like straw market and all. Anyway, it's just attraction, other things. But gentlemen, your thoughts on this bridge that's become sort of a focal point?
Mr. Miller?
I don't know. $86 million is a hell of a lot of money for a bridge on a family island. I mean, I'm now very, very concerned. Listen, my first priority of any government, of any member of parliament, is the safety and protection of the Bahamian people and their welfare. The F&M is saying that they had a bridge that they were going to build for some $30 million. The new government is saying the bridge is going to cost $86 million. The Ministry of Works people, and I can't really have a hell of a lot of faith in them to begin with. Because first of all, they don't like nothing local. If it ain't foreign, they don't like it. Or maybe we should get a foreigner looking at the bridge. Instead of getting their figures, I'll go and get other figures and make it more competitive for someone to give us a better price on our bridge. That's my view. You won't go there. But that's a lot of money for a bridge for one island. Eleuthera, which is very important to us economically, but the tourism. but you're going to spend $100 million on that bridge. There's a hell of a lot of work to be done in New Providence and elsewhere. And I don't know the urgency of it. If it's necessary, but I find that to be a little much. Maybe the bridge shouldn't be a glass bridge. I don't know, Paradise Island Bridge, the Sydney Bridge would have cost that kind of money. I don't know. But, you know, for one project on an island like that, for $86 million to me, that's a rough call. I'm glad it's them and not me making that call. But I think we should go back out and try to get some better prices than that on behalf of the Bahamian people, who's really the owners of the treasury, I think we need to take a second look. That's my opinion on that.
Well, I appreciate your commentary tonight there, Mr. Leslie Miller. Shanique Miller, when he states about the safety of the people in North Eleuthera, I think that has
the entire
much
Eleuthera,
merit.
Not just North Eleuthera, everybody used the bridge.
Well, we have traveled that bridge before, and one side is extremely rough, the other side is very calm, but in times when you have like surges coming from the Atlantic Ocean, mind you, that is the breaker from the Atlantic Ocean itself. And if you've ever driven over that bridge, the waves itself can actually have the effect of pushing a car over, and that is very treacherous. So the need for it, I stand with Mr. Leslie Miller as to say, if there is an urgent need, I could comprehend. In terms of the cost value, anytime we hear of an enormous amount of money, as the Bahamian people, we have to query that, because there are so many other issues that we're now facing. North Eleuthera has had issues with water, right here on this very same show, Ms. Shanique Miller. They've had issues with electricity.
Yes.
And so as in terms of the political value of actually putting this project together, I am not certain that the political value would be worth the investment other than that of safety. If it is just for the safety and the benefit of Bahamian people and tourists, I'm all for it. If it takes $83 million to get it done, I'm all for the 2,218 feet of it.
It's also going to be elevated. So I don't know if that's what we're saying, but it's also like it's a number of improvements because as you described, at its current height, obviously it's not high enough, and because the waves still come over and people have lost their lives, and just as you said, cars have been washed off.
Not make a bridge similar to Paradise Island or some other regular bridge. Does it have to be glass, is my question. Is that what causing all the money? Because the bridge itself, as the minister said, was only costing some 27 million. The bridge itself. Is these other ancillary costs?
Is all those other things.
That brought that price tremendously, outrageous as far as I'm concerned.
Well, I would say then Mr. Miller and Ms. Shanique Miller, go ahead and build the bridge. The access items, even though it's a tourist attraction, I myself would say, hold off on that. There are other things that we must now take care of that are very immediate. There are threats of NIB increases and tax increases in the near future. We just spoke about Chester Cooper making the comment that is anticipated, possibly, that we may have in the United States, we may just go into recession.
But think about this, Garth, and this is I'm not a spokesperson for the Ministry of Works. I'm just saying, though, remember even in the pandemic, where North Eleuthera's economy in particular was just continuing to soar, and that to this day happens. Agreed. So the thing is, if you want to, if the budget is in place to put additional attractions in Eleuthera, for example, one of the hot destinations, and has been holding its own now for years. Yes. Why not continue to add to that?
I'm all for that, Shanique Miller. But North Eleuthera also had an issue with fires. I do recall the fires in Harbour Island. I do recall serious immigration issues also.
Harbour Island has its immigration issues, yes.
In northern Eleuthera. We've also spoken about a hotel in nearby North Eleuthera that had some very, very damaging employee relations with the employer. There's so many issues that Eleuthera is facing. I'm only saying this, Shanique Miller, politically, because we're going into the electoral season. I am not certain that $83 million invested in this entire project is going to merit a victory for North Eleuthera for you. I would say to you, like Mr. Leslie Miller said, safety first. And if you can make some type of insertion in terms of an investment in a very menial way, I would actually encourage you to do that. But the excess monies, I think we can do better with our treasury money in other places.
My primary concern on behalf of the people of the Bahamas who owns the public treasury is this. Does this bridge have to be a glass bottom bridge?
It isn't. Like
So what is it- so what is-
that's
so-
always been the
so-
confusing thing. There's no glass anywhere near the bridge,
So
right?
so why do you call it the glass?
Why you say
bridge?
The glass
right,
window bridge is
that's
only
just the
because
name
of
of
its position
And
in
why is it
terms
going
of
to cost us $83
because
million?
of how, but you see how that's situated. That is the thing, to replicate that and to obviously ensure safety, to take it higher as well, so that all the challenges that now exist and the dangers accompanying that are sort of alleviated.
Again, I say
And
maybe we should go to the States, look at those major companies that build these bridges every other week or every other month in Miami and elsewhere, and get other people to take a look at it and see if they can come with something different that is more economical and cut the size by 50%.
But
That's all I'm saying.
the truth be told, though, if we do look at it, though, geologically, there are very few places in the world that you'll actually get to see an ocean. I mean, the Atlantic Ocean itself at its bare.
It's stunning.
It's no
really,
feet like it.
It's stunning.
And as you look on the right side, if you're going north, you see this deep ocean. And when you look to the left side, you see this tranquil
yes.
Bahamian
Your bridges
turquoise